everyone, it's me. So in this video, sitting on my couch like this, I just want to share some of my New Year's resolutions. I'm actually making this video as part of Goodwall's resolution challenge. So Goodwall is a professional network community for students and young professionals. So you can just share all your different interests with different people all over the world, like health, social impact, or investment, or your career, anything. It kind of looks like social network apps that you already know, something like Instagram or Twitter, but it's more like getting motivated by different people and just share and chat with the people who actually share the same values with you. So it's a free app, so you can just download it on your phone and just scroll down around to see how all young, determined people are doing. So Goodwall does lots of challenges and programs, so more young professionals and students can actually participate and just talk about their achievements and everything. So this hashtag resolution is a New Year's challenge going on Goodwall. And a lot of people already uploaded a short video about their New Year's resolution, and so did I. So I'm just gonna leave the download link in the description box, so if you're interested in, just have a look. And this video, as I don't really have like a time limit or anything because it's YouTube and this is my own channel, I'm just gonna talk about what I want to achieve this year, kind of more like freely and chilled. And I was just thinking how I can make this video more chilled, and I just decided to bring one cider. This is gonna be my very first video that I'm gonna be drinking in front of camera / YouTube and everything. And I don't really have an opener, so I'm just gonna use this scissors to open it. Cheers, everyone. I have a very bad Asian flush, by the way. I did put some BB cream on my face, but you will see my neck going really red. So I've listed down some stuff here. It really doesn't have like a particular order. None of my purpose, but it happens to be exactly 10. So I think this is great. As I've just mentioned, it doesn't really have like a particular order. So number 1 is get a job. I know you might be thinking like, Jess, what do you mean? You already have a job, you're already working as a full-time. So basically, to become a qualified pharmacist, you need an MPharm degree, and you do need to do a 52 weeks of pre-reg year. And then you can attend the registration exam, and if you pass, basically you become a qualified pharmacist. Anyway, so this means that at the end of July, I'm finishing my contract with my current pharmacy and I need to get a job. And the thing is that when I was applying for this pre-reg place, I knew that it's only gonna last for 1 year. So I didn't really take it like that seriously. And in case you didn't know, this is the pharmacy that I've been working since year 1. So I didn't even apply to other pharmacies or hospitals because I already had my job offer in year 3. So after this July, I'm gonna be working in a different pharmacy or hospital or somewhere else, and that's basically what I meant by get a job. At this moment, I'm thinking of applying for more hospitals rather than pharmacies because I've been working in community pharmacy for like 4 years now. I mean, only 1 year of full-time and 3 years of part-time, but still I kind of feel like I do know what I'm doing in community pharmacy. So I think I'm gonna be prioritizing some hospitals in London, and honestly, I really don't mind going other cities in the UK because I know myself so well. I'm gonna be fine, and honestly, cost of living would be cheaper there, so I really don't mind going outside of London either. But at the same time, I'm so used to living in London, so of course I'm just gonna kind of prioritize applying to hospitals in London, but at the same time, I really don't mind going anywhere else in the UK. And I always knew that at some point of my life, I'm going to be doing PhD in global health. But I really don't know which area exactly in global health because as I'm working right now, I kind of feel like studying and working is like really different. So when I was studying, I really liked that kind of policy related or social stigma, that kind of things. But as I'm working now, I kind of find HIV or that kind of STD things very interesting. So I really don't know what kind of project I want to study for a PhD. So that's kind of why I want to work a bit more before deciding what exactly I want to do. So I get like lots of DMs and comments and everything being like, so Jess, what do you want to do after? Are you going to be a community pharmacist forever, or do you want to do a PhD, or what do you want? I genuinely wish I could answer that question because I genuinely have no idea what I'm going to end up with. But anyways, this year is going to be very important because it's going to be the first year that I'm going to be looking for my permanent job, even if it doesn't really mean that I'm going to be working there forever. if it makes sense. And I'm currently prioritizing hospitals over community pharmacies because I've been working in community pharmacies for like 4 years. The second one is to use less plastic. So I think I've been kind of trying quite well, but at the same time, I still find myself so ignorant sometimes. For example, at some point I was looking for some cranberry juice and I was just like looking at all the shelves and everything, and basically I found this cranberry juice in plastic bottles, which I didn't really care. I didn't even think of it at all or something. So I was just literally just about to grab it, and my friend just like standing next to me, who was really cautious about this kind of issues, he was like, Jess, let's not buy anything in plastic bottles. And then I was like, oh yes. I mean, I always thought I was trying quite hard, but at the same time, I'm just like so used to having plastic all the time. So when I recycle, I kind of notice, oh, I'm still using lots of plastic. But when I kind of buy it, I don't really think carefully as like, this is going to be part of my plastic consumption, if it makes sense. So this year, I just want to read more and educate myself a bit more so I can use just less plastic. Okay, number 3 is 1 pull-up. I never really work out my arms. And last August, I started rock climbing. And I noticed that how weak I am, literally how weak my arms are. I've got arms, but I kind of feel like they just don't really have any muscles. So when I just like watch people climbing, they can hang, they can sometimes use their arms somehow and then literally grab the one higher. And whenever I try, I notice that I cannot even hang properly. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to train and I want to do pull-ups. So I was just asking some of my guy friends and everything, and apparently to do pull-ups, you're supposed to engage your back muscles rather than your arm muscles. And I didn't even know how it feels like because I've never really done it before. If I actually try to do it, it might take like 6 months or something, but I think I can do it because it's gonna be just like 1 pull-up. It's not even 10 or 5 or anything, just 1 pull-up. Honestly, when I first started climbing, I couldn't even hang. Literally, when I try to just like come down, I'll be just like hang like this and then I'll just like fall like this. But now I can actually kind of hang. So doing 1 pull-up would be my number 3 New Year's resolution. And number 4 is running 10 kilometers without any break. I used to run quite a lot in 2019. At that time, I was doing study abroad in South Korea and the campus was just like perfect for jogging. So, and I had a friend just living just next to the campus. So he was just like coming over quite a lot and then we would go jogging for like literally almost every day. At first, I couldn't really run more than like 2 kilometers without any break. But at the end of the time, I was actually able to run like 10 kilos without any break. It's not even new, so I kind of feel like I can kind of do that. And number 5 is read 10 non-academic books in a year. A lot of you guys think that I read a lot for some reason. I really don't know where it's coming from, but basically I really don't read that much. I think I read literally like 2-3 non-academic books last year. I know this would be just an excuse, but honestly, when I was a student, I really didn't have that much free time. But honestly, these days I do have lots of free time, but I just spend time just watching Netflix, you know, like scrolling down Instagram and that kind of things. So honestly, if I decide to just spend that time reading books, I'm pretty sure I can do that 10 non-academic books. I know some people read like more than 100 books per year and everything, but I just want this to be realistic. I know myself so well, so I'm setting it as 10 non-academic books. Okay, number 6 is pay my own rent. I think my parents are gonna really like this resolution. At first, they paid my tuition fees and the rent, and I was getting some allowance monthly as well. And in year 2, I wanted to move somewhere closer to my uni, and I still wanted to live in a studio. So it was very, very expensive. So I just talked to my parents being like, okay, I really want to stay in this accommodation, but I know it's very expensive. So if you allow me to live in this accommodation, I will somehow sort out my daily expense from my part-time job or anything. So in year 2, I was actually affording myself for my daily expense and everything from the money that I was getting from the pharmacy part-time job, which is actually the same pharmacy that I'm working at now, but at that time it was just part-time. So year 2 was pretty poor. And at the beginning of year 3, for some reason, I still have no idea how it happened, but my YouTube channel grew so much, so I could use the money for my daily expense and at the same time for all my travels as well. So which was great. And since then I wasn't really getting any monthly allowance, and they're still paying for my rent. First, I wanted to pay my own rent, but honestly, pre-reg pharmacists' annual salary is not great at all. I mean, compared to the qualified pharmacists. And living in London is so expensive, especially about the rent. Rent is just crazy. I do get a lot of comments from you guys being like, so Jess, how much do you pay for your rent? Your apartment's really nice. I've been avoiding answering that question for like almost 2 years now because I just don't want to be judged. I did start living with different people at first, but sometimes flat sharing was really nice, but at the same time, sometimes it was nightmare. So that one thing I couldn't really give up was living by myself. So after this one, I'll try to find like a cheaper place, probably just moving outside of central London, and then try to just find my own place somewhere that I can actually just like pay rent by myself. So I think this number 6, pay all my rent, would be the hardest. But I think I would actually feel so great once I actually start paying my own rent like monthly and without asking any extra money from my parents, because I kind of feel like that would be the time that I would actually feel like, okay, I'm grown up, I'm financially independent, something like that. And number 7 is, I think this is something that you guys would think like, Jess, really? This is so unexpected. But basically, number 7 is investing £10,000 in stock market. I always knew that I'm so financially illiterate, if you know what I mean. I would just watch BBC News like CNN or like some Korean news as well. And when I just like watch something financially related, I would just like listen to it, and honestly I would not really understand anything. Like they just talk about a lot of, you know, different terms and everything, and I would be just like watching that news like a potato, being like, okay, something going on, something money going on. And last summer I was kind of being like, okay, we live in capitalism, we do need to know about money. I mean, getting interested in investment or money is not really like a bad thing or something. We do need to know how to manage our own salary and money. Because of this pandemic, I couldn't really travel anymore, and I was actually getting more cash in my savings account. And I was just thinking like, what am I gonna do with this money? Because having cash in bank account doesn't really mean anything, because all the price would just go up because of inflation, but cash is literally that one thing would not. So I kind of started investing money in the stock market in last summer, and so far I think I invested like £2,000. But when I say investing certain amount of money into something, it just doesn't really mean that I want to earn more money. It's just more like I just want to know how to understand, like, you know, what annual report means and what this means, and you know, all the terms and everything. So I just want to get myself educated a bit more in terms of this financial related things. That is honestly what I kind of find this more meaningful, rather than just that £10,000 in terms of the money itself. So I just don't really want to be financially illiterate anymore. That's the whole point. Okay, number 8. I'm already number 8, but at the same time I was just being so cautious because, as I said, I really didn't want to be tipsy at the end. So I only like had this much cider. Well, I'm just gonna sort out what I'm gonna do with this after just finishing this video. Number 8 is to study Spanish again. I mean, hablo español poquito, pero olvidé mucho. I did take some lessons in like 2016. That was actually the first time that I learned Spanish kind of like properly, including grammar and everything. And in 2017, when I went to Latin America with Sue, our Spanish skills were actually like literally on point. We would actually do some like small talk, and I was able to explain what I want to do and where I'm going to and everything. Basically like survival Spanish. It was actually quite good, and I never really studied after. So at this point, I almost forgot everything. Literally last week, I had a patient from Peru, and she really did not speak any English. And I was kind of the only one who could speak just a bit of Spanish. So I just went to the till, and basically I had to say, come back on Tuesday. And I couldn't think of freaking martes. I'm just like, I was so disappointed at myself because come back on Tuesday, it's not like hard sentence at all. And I just couldn't really say it in Spanish just because I forgot what Tuesday is in Spanish. So I was just thinking like, okay, probably I should study this back again. And number 9 is making my own postcard set with my own photos. I think this actually has been on my wish list for like 4 years now. So I do have a lot of really good photos. I say good photos because it just makes me happy, because it just reminds me of all the travels and everything. So probably it's not really like good enough in terms of, you know, photographers' point of view, but there are some photos I really like. And I always want to use those photos to make some postcards and make like a postcard set. And at first when I dreamed about this, I didn't really have any YouTube channel or anything. So I was just thinking making some and then give it as like a gift to my friends or my family or that kind of things. But at this point, I kind of want to make it as like a proper product and then sell it. And I want to donate all the profits to some organizations or social enterprise, basically somewhere working some good for the world. Regarding this kind of donation and helping social enterprise and everything, some of you guys were asking me how I can be such an altruistic person. I'm only doing that because it just gives me the greatest joy, if it makes sense. Every single person has their own way of spending money, and I genuinely think that's all about just like priority. I like supporting social enterprise and everything just because that gives more joy than whatever I buy or whatever I do. Honestly, in terms of traveling used to give me the biggest joy. I'm just gonna be honest with myself. But as that's something that I cannot really do, and I'm just gonna spend my money whatever gives me more joy. And that's basically donating certain amount of money and buying some gifts for my friends or my family, that kind of things. So I really don't find myself altruistic because I know that I'm such a selfish person. Number 10, the very, very last one. As this is the last one, I think I can drink a bit more, like till here, I guess. Okay, the last one is to be healthy just as like I was last year. Of course, it's for the pandemic as well, but at the same time, as I started working full-time in the pharmacy, I see lots of people taking regular medicines in the long-term based. I kind of thought people in my age would not really take that many regular medications, but I see a lot of young people taking lots of different medicines, lots of antidepressants, lots of anti-diabetic drugs. Sometimes when I like pack all the medicines together, like sometimes even if it's only for 1 month supply, I literally pack like this much. And sometimes they're like 26, 27. I've listed down from number 1 to number 10 the things I really want to achieve in 2021. But honestly, if I'm not healthy, from number 1 to number 9 does not mean anything. Like literally does not mean anything. So I really want myself to be healthy, and I really want all my loved friends and my family members to stay healthy as well. And of course you guys as well. Don't be sick, everyone. Literally, health is the best thing ever. The sad thing is that you would never know how grateful you should be for your health till you get sick. Okay, so that was the list of my 10 New Year's resolutions. I'm actually so glad that I made this as like a video, so at the end of 2021 I can actually look back to this video and then assess being like, okay, I did this one great, I didn't really make this, but probably for next year, you know, that kind of stuff. Thank you so much to Goodwill for giving this opportunity and sponsoring this video. And as I shared my resolutions, I kind of want to hear your resolutions as well. So maybe if it's okay with you guys, probably you can leave some comments with your New Year's resolutions as well so I can see them. Thank you so much for watching this video today and listening to my New Year's resolutions. And I wish all of you guys happy and healthy New Year. Have a great day, guys. Bye!